'Cause you want the
Tasty
tasty
treat.
It's
Two fat guys eat.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Two Fat Guys Eat. I'm Colin.
And I'm Sean.
And on a rainy day in the midst of the NFL draft, Sean and I decided to peruse a local business, one that I've been partaking of for quite a while, but was Sean's first time.
It was my very first time.
And you never forget your first.
You never forget your first time at the garage.
That's right. We decided to try the Garage in Frederick, Maryland. And I want to say, like I said, I've seen this place. They were a food truck originally, and then they did and then they have a, restaurant. And what I love about this place is that it's very small. It's very homey. Because when you first pull into the place, it's in a business park near the airport in Frederick.
Right.
So you're like, this is where one of the culinary gems of Frederick is, and Frederick's a food town.
Yes. So, it's a foodie town.
Yeah. So obviously, you imagine your surprise when we pull into this place and we're like, are we in the right spot?
Maybe.
Yes, we were.
Yes.
Yes. So we pull into the business park, we get in, we bring in, and again, the garage is fantastic, and they were busy. We went in, every table full.
Every table was,
Yeah, and I'd say half the bar seats were full. But the funny thing was, later in the meal, one of the wait staff came up to us and was like, "Yeah, this is kind of slow for us on a Saturday." I'm like,
"What?"
I was like, "Every table's full." She's like, "Yeah, no, but all the seats are full, and we've got to-go orders coming in, and it's really busy. Like, we were super packed earlier, and then we got a lot of those orders."
I remember the first time I attempted to try them. Mm-hmm. It was on a Labor Day. And I tried to get a parking lot. I couldn't find a spot.
No, and that is true, because I
couldn't park like across adjacent business building because they were full too.
And that's the thing. That should tell you something, because again, if every spot in that business park is being utilized for one restaurant, I mean, again, there are other businesses in there, but I guarantee you 90% of the usable
they're all
space,
garage.
They're all for the garage, and so. The atmosphere is great in there. You know what I mean? Like, it's small. I don't want to say
it's very it's very quaint. It reminds me of do you remember Attaboy?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I do remember Attaboy.
Yeah, Attaboy. It was like Attaboy, but you scrunched it down and then you filled it with really good food.
Oh yeah,
that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely got that sort of local. Local brewery, the local brewery scene, but again, more geared towards food versus. I mean, again, they serve beer, and you know this.
I do.
Yeah, because you had some.
It was really good. And
what's great about this is like I said, it's a rainy day. We went in, we sat down. I was like, hey, we can eat, formulate our review, but also get eyes on the NFL draft because they're in the later rounds. So I was like, yeah, we got something to watch.
Watch out, let's see if who the Ravens are pulling for, who see how the Bills are getting, and we'll go from there.
And we'll go from there. So luckily, we were able to sit down. We put our order in. We decided to go with the mainstays of their cheesesteak and their 18-inch, their large pizza. I want to say first and foremost, like.
All right. Well, let's start off with.
Yes.
You said price.
Yeah, I'd say the price point is great.
Considering what you're getting.
Yes.
Considering like it's a local eatery that they care about the quality of the food.
Yes.
It was very fairly priced.
Right, because you hear that and you immediately are like, oh, it's gonna be like really expensive. Almost prohibitively expensive.
I mean, it's not.
But it's not.
It's about the same price that you would pay at like a TGI Fridays.
Or no, any sit-down restaurant.
Or any sit-down shop.
Chain
any chain restaurant, it'll be the same, like similar price if they're offered a cheesesteak and a pizza.
And that was the thing. It was like we got a cheesesteak sandwich. We subbed out, because it comes with chips, but we subbed out for salt and vinegar fries.
Oh, of course.
Which were fantastic.
But we'll get into that.
And then we got their largest pizza, because we were splitting it between the two of us. So we were like,
now I want some leftovers.
Yeah, and now you got some leftovers. That's right. So I think let's go down the middle. Start with we got drinks. I got Coke because I got a Coke Zero because I was driving.
I got the bourbon ginger mule to start before we got any food. That one was really good.
Yeah.
And then I had their one IPA. I forgot what it was called.
We'll put it here.
Yeah, we'll put it there.
Yeah.
So that was really good. So let's start in the cheesesteak.
Pound for pound, in my opinion, best cheesesteak in the city of Frederick.
See, I never understood that because I never had it, and then I tried it, and he's not lying. Yeah. It is without a doubt the best cheesesteak in Frederick.
Now, and I want
obviously you can go with some Rocco's, you can go with like some different sort of places, but in even like what Jimmy John's or like or not Jimmy John's the one that Jersey Mike's like Fair. Like they're decent cheesesteaks, but.
Well, and that's the problem
for like the chain stuff, but like
in terms when it comes to a point of reference, because what is a good cheesesteak? Because around here, the only options are like you said,
chain restaurants.
So Jersey Mike's, Charlie's, Jimmy John's, the basic sub places, right? Which are fine. There's nothing wrong with those. They're good in the way. But
in terms of locality and like a local business where we get to talk to the owners and like you can they check in on you, see how you're doing and everything. I would say with the cheesesteak, it's had some of the best bread on a cheesesteak I've ever had.
Oh yeah, semolina roll.
It was a semolina roll, but it was like it wasn't soggy. It was like crispy but also soft in the inside, which is what I grew up with in Philly. Like that's a really good cheesesteak.
That's always sort of the knife's edge you walk on with a cheesesteak sandwich because it is inherently a fucking it's a messy bitch.
It is.
It's a messy bitch with just, the steak and the cheese itself. It creates a lot of moisture, which inevitably ends up sogging the bread up.
That's why you usually have to have it like fresh.
Right. And that's and that's the thing. We had it fresh, but also in this case, you had the added variables. You had lettuce, you had mayo, you had tomato, you had hot pepper relish.
Did they have lettuce on there?
Caramelized onions. Yeah, it had lettuce.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Well, and that's the other thing is that all those elements are in there, and you would assume, like in our previous episode, I was like, I'm not huge on tomato in my sandwich because of the fact that it's so heavily moisture. As soon as you add an element of heat, it ends up soaking
I'm not really a big
bread.
fan of mayo in my cheesesteak.
But that's the thing. None of those elements sort of outweighed over the other.
Because anytime like you order a cheesesteak and then they have mayo in there, which is not how I would normally have it.
Sure.
They put like a huge gobs of it on, and it like really distracts from the overall cheesesteak experience. Yes. But they put the right amount on. They put the hot pepper relish.
Oh yeah,
get out of town.
The ratios on this sandwich are
dialed in.
Are near perfect. Yeah,
they're dialed in.
Yeah, I'd say the only excess that came off of that sandwich was just like the fat rendering off of the beef.
Which is what I like.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. You love that. You dip it. You let it soak into the bread. You got a little.
Eat it over the fries. Eat the fries.
There you go.
Yeah. Speaking of the fries.
Oh my God. Yes.
The salt and vinegar fries.
The fact that salt and vinegar is not a
but
staple
it's not.
condiment.
It's not. They put vinegar over it and then salted it. They had this salt and vinegar seasoning that they put on top of it, which was really good, and the fries were really well done.
Yeah, because in Buffalo, where I'm from,
well done as in they did a good job. Not well done as they're overcooked.
Yeah. So in Buffalo, where I'm from, salt and malt vinegar, they're like a staple condiment when it comes to French fries.
It's pretty much that's universal. It's
fish
and chips in England.
I'm saying depending on where you go in this country, it's not.
But in this country, it's not universal.
Yeah,
I'm just saying everywhere
weird.
else it is.
Well, I know. I'm saying it's weird because it should be because it's delicious.
Oh, it's absolutely delicious.
And so I started eating. I was like, wow, these aren't I'm getting the salt and vinegar, but I'm not getting that sort of. Like that sort of pruny finger feeling.
Yeah,
because you run into that when you have fries doused in malt vinegar. And
Yes.
so I had to ask, I was like, hey, did you put malt vinegar on? They're like, no, we use a salt and vinegar seasoning. We do have malt vinegar if you want to put more on. I was like, no, this is fine. This is perfect. This gives me the taste that I want without giving me the prune fingers.
The prune fingers, yeah.
So I was very much appreciative of that.
So we had the cheesesteak. It was really good.
Oh my God.
We weren't even finished the fries, and then it came.
And then I came.
And then we came.
So the pizza, we got an 18-inch pizza, and we went with our basic go-to when it comes to pizza. We got extra cheese and pepperoni, right?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Honestly, that's a standard pizza order for anybody. But here's where the Garage is better than any other local joint in town. They use cup pepperoni.
The cup.
And I want to be clear.
The little tiny bowls full of grease.
Yes. Cup pepperoni is the proper form of pepperoni, and I will not be taking, at me. Fight me.
Fight him.
Fight me. Yeah, no, because cup pepperoni is the correct form of pepperoni to use on a pizza. Because A, it uses natural casings. It curls it up into those little bowls of grease that we love so much. Mm-hmm. And it gives
tops.
Exactly. Well, and also it gives a way more concentrated pepperoni flavor versus your, because, and I'll say this much. Yes, there's, little bits of grease sitting in the cup itself, right? Now you think that's bad, but no, because in
fat is flavor.
That's true, but also in a flat pepperoni, that grease is still there, but it seeps out into the pizza and makes it like unwieldy. Yeah. At least with a cup pepperoni, you keep it in one centralized area and you get that little burst of flavor when you eat it.
Yeah.
And again, it's a more concentrated pepperoni flavor, so you got that.
My favorite part about the cup pepperoni,
yes,
is the crispy bits on the top.
Oh,
yeah, the crispy bit on the top.
That's the natural casings.
That's the natural casing, and it's delicious. It's just so good.
It gives you that. It's another name for it is cup and char, because they'll crisp up real nice in the oven.
So good.
It's so good, and the fact, honestly, and that's the thing, you get to keep the leftovers, and I'm jealous because I love me some cup pepperoni.
We're gonna have some after this episode.
Yeah, no, I'm
not lying on that one.
I mean, like we'll clip in like our first bite reactions, but you can obviously see like Sean's in hog heaven.
I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But that's the other thing is like with both of them, it was. The textures were on point. The flavor was on point. Like with a cheesesteak, again, we've talked about this. The problem you run into is that with all those elements working together, the steak, the cheese, the mayo, the lettuce, the tomato, the hot pepper relish, there's so many variables to sort of sog out the bread and just the sandwich starts to fall apart.
It's a hard thing to get. It doesn't keep long.
Yeah, it doesn't keep long. But that's the thing. In this context, it was perfect. The outside of the bread was crisp. The inside of the bread was soft, but not soggy, which, again, is like the razor's edge you have to walk on in order to get that perfect cheesesteak consistency.
It was delicious.
And then with the pizza, I mean, again, a wood-fired pizza is so fucking good.
Oh, my God.
It's so good.
I mean, like, and that's like it. It took me back to like El Forno's.
Yep.
It took me back to like, even Cugino Forno's.
Yeah.
Like, because both of those places are really good pizza. Great pizzas. But I think the Garage is in a category of its own.
Yes.
Is as in like it is the true kind of Western New York.
It's definitely
type
I'd say
of
a closer Buffalo style pizza than it's more a Buffalo style pizza than a New York pizza because of the fact that they're using the cup pepperoni.
It's wood fired.
It's not necessarily exclusive for a Buffalo style pizza to be wood fired, but if you're doing it correctly, if you're doing it correctly, it is. But
yeah, I would say in terms of the cheesesteak, one of the best cheesesteaks I've ever had. And
yeah, you said top 3, and I was like,
it's my top 3.
That's high praise.
The only ones above that are Lee's Hoagies in their heyday, which is that doesn't really happen anymore. So if we're doing current, they're number 2. And then the other one that I would think is above them. There's a place in Philly that has a really good cheesesteak. It's
John's.
No, it's called the Pizza Steak Factory. They're a little bit, they're like North Philly. So like those two to me are like the top in terms of like, but these are so close.
And that's the thing, Maryland.
But in terms of Maryland,
yeah,
this is the best cheesesteak in Maryland.
Oh yeah, that we've tried at least. I remember.
I mean, no, I think it's the best cheesesteak in Maryland. Fight me.
You know, well,
or recommend a better place.
Well, it was funny because one of the owners came up to us while we were eating, and we were like, "Yeah, this cheesesteak is fantastic." You were like, "Oh, it's top 3 in my mind," and he was like, "Let me make another suggestion to you." And what was it? It was Rockies. Yeah, and I have never been, but you've had it, and you were like, "It's good. I think this place is better."
Yeah, no, it's good. It's not. It's nowhere near a garage.
And I remember he was. I think he was trying to be polite. He was just like, "It's different. It's different. I don't know if we're better, but it's different." I'm like, "No, you were like, no, it's better." You don't have to.
No, it's better.
No, it's better. But
your cheesesteak is better. I'm trying to give you a compliment.
Okay, so all right, of the 3 items we had, the pizza, the cheesesteak sub, and the cheesesteak and the salt and vinegar fries. What would you say was your favorite? I mean, because there's no bad dish amongst what we had.
Honestly,
yeah,
I have to go with. I mean, even though the cup pepperoni is really delicious and I really, really love it, I'm gonna have to say the cheesesteak.
Yes,
in terms of like, it is unbelievable like how many flavors they get to balance without one overpowering the other.
Yes,
with that's such a hard thing to do.
Yeah,
especially with the ingredients you're working with.
Yeah.
Because you got the hot sweet pepper relish is so overpowering, but they put just enough to where you get the flavor, but you can still taste the beef and the cheese and the bread, and it's like it's really good.
Yeah.
I like they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
and
like I said,
and
the ratios are nigh
and according to Colin, they're very consistent with doing that, and it's a really hard thing to find in a restaurant nowadays. Especially, like any of the chains out there, they're always like, you go this one, it's different than this one, and the different than this one.
Yeah.
With this one, you're, even though it was my first time, but I'm Colin leaning a lot on your opinion this. But they're consistently good every time you go there.
I've never had a bad experience with the garage in all the times I've been. And like I said, the cheesesteak is on par. And again, I'll even say, I mean, this one was a little bit better, but again, taking into consideration that we ate it in the restaurant. I usually, when I go get it, I pick it up, I go home, and then, so you can understand there's a little bit of...
Here's the thing. When you get something and you get something fresh, there's a little bit of magic.
Yes.
That is in that. If you carry it home, if you Uber eat it, if you Grubhub it, whatever you're doing to like deliver it to your house, there is at least 50% magic loss.
I actually probably go 60-40 on that.
Say 60% magic loss?
No, 40% magic
40% loss. There's a little bit. There's
you lose a little bit because
it's not just the heat. Yeah. It's the consistency, the flavor. Like it's hard to transport that in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
Without going into sci-fi technology.
That's any food. That's not just here. That's any food.
Anywhere. I'm being very fair. That's every single food, like including pizza. Even though we've like
pizza. I think the only thing you could possibly get away with that is sushi because that's not necessarily. Even then, it's
better fresh.
So, all right, yeah. So I would say, I would agree with you. I think for me it would be cheesesteak sandwich, the pizza, the fries. And again, that's not to say the fries were bad. They were great.
I'm agreeing you with that list.
Yeah, because
and like in terms and this we just base this off of what we enjoy the most, but in terms of like they're all equally really good. Like from like a standpoint, if you like if I had the 3 laying down, like they're all equally good, I think. But in terms of like personal preference, because food, spoiler alert, is very subjective. So I think that will, having that cheesesteak is above there, slight edge over the cut pepperoni.
And that's the thing. Having tried all those, it honestly only makes me want to go back and try the rest of the menu. And I feel like I would love to go back.
We may or may not have an opportunity to do that in the future.
Yes.
So, stay tuned to the Two Fat Guys Eat episode. So if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe, the like button. Yeah. Make sure your notifications are on, so when we drop an episode, you don't miss it.
Yeah.
So
right.
Sorry I had to do the average YouTube thing, but you got to squeeze it in there.
You got to squeeze it in. But honestly, yeah, I'd say a recommendation I cannot wholeheartedly suggest to you as a viewer. If you are in the Frederick, Maryland area, go to the Garage. You will not be disappointed. I would also say, if you're interested in tacos, you should check out the next episode we do, because it's coming out when, baby? It's coming out Taco Tuesday.
Which is also falls on Cinco de Mayo. This is not a drill, people. This is what we've been training for.
Ever since the Lego movie came out. This is Taco Tuesday falling on Cinco de Mayo. This is not a drill. Yeah, no, it's not a drill. We're going to be trying tacos, and we're going to be telling you which we think is good, better, or best. But I want to also say to you listeners, or to you viewers, I want to ask you, what should Two Fat Guys try next? We want to hear from you in the comments. So,
do you agree with me on cheesesteaks, or do you think I'm full of crap?
I mean, yeah, because again, cheesesteak is subjective. I think the only thing we can really agree on is that whiz is an absolute sin.
Whiz is the worst. And if you disagree with me, put something in the comments. I'm really curious.
Honestly,
why you have whiz with your cheesesteak?
It's funny.
I'm just curious about your point of view, really.
Yeah, no, we had this conversation. I remember when Bree and I went to go to, what was it, Fan Expo in Philly. We did an episode of what is the worst cheesesteak in Philadelphia, and why is it a tie between Pat's and Geno's.
I remember when you pitched that to me.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, you're not going to come back from that con.
No, Bree. I remember Bree was like,
then I took some brain synapses and actually started to think about it, and I was like, because I've had Pat's and I've had Geno's, and I'm like,
they're trash.
I'm like, no, they're probably going to get a lot of people that are going to agree with them.
No,
and lo and behold,
everyone
came out to go, Pat's and Geno's is shit. Go to New Jersey.
No, they were giving us tons of recommendation. Ish Kebabbles,
I know, but
John,
the majority of the people were like, go to New Jersey.
It's like, you can go to New Jersey and get a better cheesesteak than you can get at Pat's and Geno's.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God. Okay, but also, we want to let people know, if you can't watch the episode on YouTube, if you're at work and you need to listen to an episode rather than watch it, please remember, we also release episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
So if you can give us a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we truly appreciate it.
We do.
Like and subscribe.
This episode's brought to you by viewers like you.
Yes.
Well, check out warpandwhimsy.com. I am doing Twitch streaming now, so you can check that out. I also released an audiobook recently.
I did hear about that.
Yeah, Schaible Core, which I wrote, I released in 2024. I spent all year
recording your own audiobook.
Recording it, at least in 2025. Yeah. I spent all year recording it. It is now available on Audible. So go... And I narrate the whole thing, too. So if you love to hear my voice, go to audible.com.
Thank you.
So, yeah, there. So go to audible.com, Schaible Score. But, yeah, that should wrap it up for today.
Yeah, that's right. So until next time, I'm Colin.
And I'm Sean.
And you've been listening to another episode of Two Fat Guys Eat. And remember, kids, don't stop eating when you're full.
Stop eating when you hate yourself.
Two Fat Guys Eat is a Castwave Studios production. For other shows and more,